For decades, the name Kodak was synonymous with photography itself. It wasn't just a brand, it was a cultural icon, a vibrant yellow box that captured the most cherished moments of our lives. From the first family vacation photos to the groundbreaking images that graced the covers of magazines, Kodak film and cameras were everywhere, empowering millions to freeze time and preserve memories. They built an empire, a global powerhouse that seemed utterly invincible, a titan of innovation and market dominance. But here's the astonishing, almost unbelievable truth. This very company, a pioneer in the art and science of capturing light, was the one that invented the very technology that would ultimately shatter its legacy. Yes, Kodak didn't just see the future of photography. They built it, held it in their hands, demonstrated its potential. Yet, in one of the most tragic blunders in business history, they allowed that future to slip through their fingers, losing everything in the process. How could a company so dominant, so deeply entrenched in its industry, fail to capitalize on its own groundbreaking invention? How did the very architects of digital photography become its most spectacular casualty? This isn't just a story about technology. It's a profound cautionary tale about corporate myopia, the perilous comfort of past success, and the brutal consequences of failing to adapt. Get ready to dive deep into Kodak's tragic downfall and uncover the critical lessons every business leader, every entrepreneur, and every innovator absolutely needs to understand. To truly grasp the magnitude of Kodak's error, we must first appreciate the heights from which they fell. George Eastman, the visionary founder, didn't just invent roll film. He democratized photography. Before Kodak, photography was a cumbersome, expensive endeavor, reserved for professionals. Eastman's genius was to make it accessible to everyone. With his mantra, "You push the button, we do the rest." This simple philosophy created a mass market overnight. By the mid-20th century, Kodak was a juggernaut. They owned the entire ecosystem, manufacturing chemicals, paper, processing equipment, and a global network of film development labs. Their famous razor and blade business model was brilliantly effective. Sell cameras cheaply, then make enormous profits on recurring film purchases and processing. Kodak controlled an estimated 90% of film sales and 85% of camera sales in the US, commanding an almost unassailable position. They invested heavily in research and development, fostering a culture of innovation that was, ironically, about to deliver their greatest triumph and their greatest undoing. The year was 1975. Deep within Kodak's sprawling research labs in Rochester, New York, a young electrical engineer named Stephen Sasson was given a seemingly innocuous task. Explore the possibility of building an electronic camera using a new type of sensor called a charge-coupled device, or CCD. What Sasson and his team created was nothing short of revolutionary. It was clunky, weighing nearly 9 pounds, roughly the size of a toaster. It took 23 seconds to capture a single black and white image, saving it onto a cassette tape, and another 23 seconds to display it on a television screen. The resolution was a mere 0.01 megapixels. But it worked, and it was pure digital. Sasson had invented the world's first self-contained digital camera. He presented his prototype to Kodak executives, demonstrating the incredible potential of capturing images without film. Their reaction? A mix of awe and profound discomfort. They understood the technology's implications immediately. "That's cute," one executive reportedly said, "but don't tell anyone about it." Another, more prescient, asked, "Why would anyone want to look at their pictures on a television set?" This moment perfectly encapsulates Kodak's fatal dilemma. They were the first to see the writing on the wall, the first to build the future. But that future directly threatened their incredibly profitable, deeply entrenched film business. Instead of embracing it, instead of seeing it as an opportunity to reinvent themselves and lead the next wave of photography, they saw it as an existential threat to be managed, contained, and ultimately delayed. The internal mantra became, "Let's protect the film business at all costs," a decision that would prove to be catastrophic. While Kodak deliberated, debated, and ultimately dragged its feet, the world outside its Rochester fortress was rapidly changing. Other companies, unburdened by a legacy film business, began to pour resources into digital imaging. Sony, Canon, Nikon, Casio. These names, once secondary in photography, saw the immense potential. By the late 1980s and early 1990s, the first consumer digital cameras, though still expensive and rudimentary, began to appear on the market. Simultaneously, two other powerful forces were converging: the explosion of